about. I mean, there's lots of humour, there's lots of camaraderie, there's lots of stuff in there about women that I have been banging on about for years and years and years. I love the fact that we live in a country, I've been talking about this, that actually loves to sing so much. You know, and at the end of a lot of meetings we just get a wee song. That's a nice thing to do. There's nothing wrong with that, actually. There's something weird about human behaviour. If you actually stood back and watched human behaviour, that at some point in the evening we just like to go, oh! If that was a David Attenborough documentary, you'd be going, look at the weird folk. Oh, they're really sad. Oh, they're really happy. Yeah! Well, what is that about? But I think I was brought up in a family full of women who just loved to sing. The men did as well, but they didn't get as much chance as the women. Because the women were in there first. Because the women, of course, in Scotland have always loved what I term the victim songs, you know. We love those songs that go, oh, he's left me again. I was hanging on his ankle as he kicked me out the way. I love him so. What is that about? I was brought up with, no wonder women are crazy, by the way. I was brought up with those women. And a room full where everybody's sitting singing, and you suddenly listen to the words, you know, with it, why, Delilah. See, whoever wrote that thing, that's genius, that. Everybody knows that. But then, of course, you listen to the words and you get, I saw the knife in my hand and she loved no more. Hooray! He killed her! What is that about? Why do we love songs like that? Why do we sing along with it? I was brought up, no wonder. Somebody said to me the other day, though, yes, women in Scotland are crazy. But women in Scotland are crazy and men in Scotland are stupid. And women in Scotland are crazy because men in Scotland are stupid. See, I like that. That's divided the audience completely. I think that's actually sexist. But it is quite a peculiar thing that we do that. And that women, I mean, I was brought up with that, as I said, with all the women round about me, my aunties singing. And of course, there's no real songs about who we really were, you know. There was none of those. Who writes the songs, you know? Oh, you're 42 and pretty heavy round the head. You like your chick, but I love you. See, if Adele sung that, that'd go #1. That's what we need, liberation songs for women. That's what we need. But I was actually brought up by my hero, or heroine, was a woman called Billie Holiday, who actually, see, you all love it. And they're the songs when you've had a wee drink, that's the songs that make you great. And and of course you don't listen to the words, it's cost me a lot. But there's one thing that I got, it's my man. See, I'm back to the clubs, look at it. Cold and wet, tired you bet. All of this I will forget with my man. He's not much on looks, he's no hero out of books, but I love him. 2 or 3 girls is he that he likes as well as me, but I love him. He isn't true, he beats me too. What can I do? Phone the police? Phone Kenny? But they're the songs I was brought up with, and it's not until you listen to the words you think, no wonder we're mad. Other ones, I mean, you think Sir Cliff Richard, all of that singing, got myself a crying time. Come on, join in, sing the one. See, y'all know the one. Living up. See, I sing song, now I'm talking. Best to please her, just 'cause she's a living doll. I got, thank you for that, and that is why she satisfies my soul. Come on, got myself a crying doll. What are you doing? Living doll, take a look at her hair. it's real, and if you don't believe what I say, just feel. Gonna lock her up in a trunk. So wait! I'm gonna lock her up in a trunk. You get 5 years in Berlin for that. And my aunties are all, no, that's gonna lock me up in a trunk. That's alright, hen, that means he loves me. Mind that time he locked me in the coal cellar for 3 weeks, so it was pure daft about me then. What is that about? That stuff that goes into women's brains that tells us unless we're tall, thin, blonde, young and gorgeous, we're not worthy of love. And of course, particularly in working class communities as well, when I was thinking, being brought up, I was brought up in a miners' village in Lanarkshire, and when I think of the housing estates and all of that there in Ute Hill, and I think of the women who are there with, 5 kids, trying to make ends meet, hoping their man's going to come home eventually for the pub or whatever, and they turn on the radio and they listen to these songs that tell them how to be a woman. No wonder we're crazy. My mother's favourite song was by a guy called Jack Jones, right there, Jack Jones. You're all too young, I know, but Jack Jones is very smooth and debonair. And I always think, God, imagine a housing estate like Marquesey or somewhere, and you've got this poor woman, run ragged all day with 4 kids, blah, 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 turns on the radio, and this song comes on. And I haven't changed one word of this, right? Hey, little girl, comb your hair, fix your makeup, soon he will open the door. Don't think because there's a ring on your finger that you don't have to try anymore. For wives should always be lovers too. Run to his arms the moment he comes home to you. I'm warning you, 'cause day after day there are girls at the office, and men will always be men. So don't you sit around with your hair still in curlers. You may never see him again. For wives should always be lovers too. Run to his arms the moment he comes home to you. I'm warning you. So hey, little girl, you better wear something pretty, something you'd wear to go out to the city and dim all those lights, pour the wine. Marquesey, get a grip. Start the music, time to get ready for love. Time to get ready. Yes, it's time to get ready. Yes, it's time to get ready. Get the fuck. I mean, for God's sake. No wonder we're crazy. So, here we are. Here we are at this amazing time in our history, being told all the time that we are the dreamers, that we are the ones that are far too emotional. We're letting our hearts rule our head. Can I just point out, fear, anger, they're emotions as well. And that we actually are having quite positive emotions. We are actually experiencing a bit of joy. And I have to say, at every single meeting I've gone to around the country, all the hustings I've done, all the fundraising I've done over these past few weeks, every single meeting's like this. Sold out. I was in Troon for Philippa Whitford on Monday night. Troon Town Hall, sold out. The SNP shop I opened in Airdrie with a 17,000 Labour majority. They actually think they might win it. And you heard it here first, by the way. I was opening the office, right? My sisters are hairdressers, and they tell me, they know everything, by the way. Forget your Lord Ashcroft. The hairdressers in Airdrie will tell you exactly what's going down. And my sister was a great yes voter, yes campaigner, for 2 years, joined the SNP, never had joined a political party in her life, joined the SNP the day after the referendum. So I've been out leafleting all of that. And her straw poll, she told me she was worried 2 weeks out for the referendum. because all the wee pensioner ladies, as you said, that come in all the time, who had their postal ballots, had all voted no. And she'd been working away on them, thinking, oh, I'm persuading them here and all of that. And they got frightened, they got spooked. A week later, they were regretting the fact that they had sent those ballots off. They felt duped. And my sister Louise told me today, every single one of our pensioner ladies are voting SNP. And that is a stop all about it. That is what is different. There is a rage out there as well. And I think we also can't get angry at those women over a certain age, as the polling suggested, who voted no. They were the most vulnerable. They were the ones with the worst pensions, a lot of them, who actually weren't on social media, who a lot of the Yes movement were speaking to each other. We weren't speaking to those women out there particularly, and they got scared. And you'll also have to remember that they are a generation, particularly over 60, they're a generation that still had a tie to Britain. The Britain that their fathers, their grandfathers had fought for, had been in the war, and we have to respect that. My father was a tail gunner in the RAF. It was one of the proudest things of his life was that he fought in the war. My father at 84, 82, whatever, was voting SNP before he died. Because the Britain that he had fought for no longer existed, and that's what this is about. The Britain that he believed in, that he believed would make a difference. That land fit for heroes no longer existed because under Thatcherism in particular, it had been sold off to the highest bidder. And he had no stake in that anymore. The people of Scotland understand that, they have absorbed it, they are now at a point where they're saying, we want change, and we want hope. And let's not forget that those movements, like Podemos, like Syriza in Greece, the Central American movements, they are all feeling the same. That the old neoliberal way of defining the world we live in is no longer valid. Where the people at the top, the richest, austerity only benefits the rich and it punishes the poor. That's why we're here. That's why we're meeting, and that's the change we want. And if we are the dreamers, let us dream. One of my favourite quotes that I discovered during the referendum was from Oscar Wilde. And it hit me right in my heart. Because he said, I do not wish to live in a world where utopia isn't on the map. Even if we never reach it, let us lift anchor and set sail. And that's what this movement is about. And that's what we have to do over these next few weeks. Because this, as Tommy rightly said, is not won. And one of the failings that we found during the referendum, all the polling would suggest and tells you that people thought it was won. That when people were partying in George Square in Glasgow and having a great time, there were other people running about, Women for India in particular, running up closes trying to get people out to vote. We need to get the vote out. We need to make sure that this is going to be the hardest bit, because the fires of hell are about to rain down on us over the next couple of weeks. And we have to make sure that we make people, and it was a failing of the Yes movement, of which I was a part, we didn't make people feel secure and safe enough to vote the way they wanted. That's our job now. So I will leave you with that and say, all we have to do now is go forth and multiply. Thank you very much.